when you say it's starting to go downhill, how much money per month are you talking?
So I went from making directly on YouTube $2,000 a month, down to about $300.
Got it.
I'm starting to bounce back. I had a lot of issues with YouTube taking away my comments. They're automatically taken, right?
Yeah.
And I get pissed. I have trolls that push me under my streams. I get angry. It took me a while, but one day one of my friends came in and they're like, dude, this is your problem. You're getting upset. Let the trolls get to you. That's number one. It's making your streams less fun. And number two, like, maybe stop doing the cannabis content for a little bit, see what happens, because maybe that's what they're doing.
I promised you we would get to the Airsoftfatty comedy section of the fish tank. I promised that was going to come true. However, based off of this first clip, I feel like Sam Hyde's going to get a little bit more into more personal aspects of Fatty's life. It isn't looking super good for Fatty, as we probably all knew. He said he was making about $2,000 a month, and now he's making like double digits. So, it's not great. I mean, you can sort of understand why he would be e-begging, but at the same time, I, along with a lot of other people, have been saying, why doesn't he just go get a job? Why doesn't he fill out an application? If he was just straightforward as to why he wouldn't do that, whether it be his weight or any other number of issues that he might have, I might be like, you know, I can see it. I can understand. But through Fish Tank, he actually got $11,000 from a GoFundMe. And I don't think that's very good. I understand why. I'm not saying that Chris is a bad person, obviously. But I feel like a lot of the viewers were caught up in like a wind swell with seeing Fatty on the show. It was also a combination of Fatty was complaining about iDubbbz. Sam Hyde obviously took Fatty in to show how virtuous he is, I don't know, and uplifted Fatty. But at the same time, I feel like giving Chris $11,000 is like giving a monkey a hand machine gun, you know. They claim they're gonna show all the receipts for it. He's supposed to get like a house and like a CPAP machine. I just am worried about the state of disarray that entire establishment will be within a month's time. Either way, we're gonna look at some of the jokes and some of the advice that goes on throughout this video. I'm gonna give my 2 cents as a comedy master. That's how you guys know me. Comedy master. So, without further ado.
It's a slow pace.
Have you ever had a job where you had to like show up?
Not like on record, but I used to have to do 10 acres of lawn pushing out for my outdoor friends for a while.
Okay. And as far as like lifestyle stuff, what time do you usually wake up?
I'm gonna be bluntly honest with you, my sleep schedule is just kind of random.
Yeah, I got you.
There are times I'm up till 3 a.m., sometimes I pass out at midnight, wake up at 2.
Of course, yeah. My opinion is that you should do stand-up.
So, Sam doesn't really push this issue much more, but it's kind of obvious that he was asking what experience in the real world he has, which Fatty has none. I couldn't really understand what job he said he had. He said he was like taking his aunt places or something like that. That's obviously not really a job. And he says he has never had to keep like a consistent sleep schedule, so he just sleeps whenever, which obviously is another indication of a lack of desire, you know, you might say. So the question though of have you ever had to show up for a job is like such a preposterous thing. And maybe, I don't know, I can't put myself in Chris's shoes a whole lot, but 95% of people are going out to have jobs, so I don't know what his excuse is. I also don't know, and he'll get into it, I don't know if Chris is made for stand-up comedy. Just based off of what we've seen from him in edited content online, I don't know if he has the wits to do stand-up comedy, because I feel like a lot of famous and popular stand-up comedians have this aura around them. They're able to think quickly. They're able to formulate these complex ideas in a digestible sense, and I don't think Chris can do that. But let's see what their opinions are.
Have freaking Bobby Hill and Gilbert Gottfried go to a bar where Elmo serves up, you know?
Sure, yeah. Okay.
So this is the crux of the issue, is that Airsoftfatty wants to have a lot of different characters within his comedy. So, like, it's fine to make references to whoever, Gilbert Gottfried or Hank Hill or whoever he wants to do, but his type of humor is sort of like Pee Wee Herman's or something like that, where it's like, oh, I'm gonna do this voice rendition of somebody, and that's the joke. Like, he'll try and construct it around some topic that might be funny, but just because you put, like, Ash Ketchum and Barack Obama in a situation together doesn't instantly make it funny. If anything, it confuses me, and it makes me be like, why am I listening to this? What's the point of this conversation? So, I think Sam is starting to realize that a little bit, but he has a heart of steel. He's going to power through an entire hour of this conversation to try and get Fatty on the right track.
Yeah, I had an interaction with Gilbert Gottfried and his wife.
How's that
going into the gynecologist, only to find out she's 9 months pregnant, not fat.
Okay, Gilbert Gottfried going into the gynecologist.
Yeah.
With his wife. She's 9 months pregnant.
Doesn't even know because they think she's just fat.
I told you, hon, you just got a little bit of that weight. Tell the doctor she just has to work the hell out.
My friend, you don't know this, but she's got to go to the hospital. She's about to go into labor.
So wait, the buffet time wasn't the problem?
So what's the buffet thing?
It's the idea of fat people love buffets.
But what'd she say?
She's like, so it's the buffet's not the problem.
Okay.
Because the idea is, oh, they think she's fat.
Got it.
In reality, she's pregnant.
Yeah.
But in the end, actually, she might be fat because she likes the buffet.
This entire joke doesn't make any sense. It literally doesn't make any sense. Gilbert Gottfried and his wife are going to the gynecologist, who is a doctor that specializes in feminine hygiene, let's say. And so she would be somebody that would go there to see if she's pregnant, right? Not to see if she's fat. The story, I think, would make a lot more sense if she was rushed to the ER because of whatever, X, Y, or Z. His wife claiming that she has abdominal pain and whatever. You know, the structure of the joke doesn't make any sense because the punchline is fat people like buffets, but the wife is pregnant and might have a baby. It falls flat immediately. This is our first impression of Chris being a stand-up comedian, and it's not looking good. It is definitely not looking good. There's going to be a couple of these that go on throughout where I'm just like, where's the funny? And you know, comedy obviously subjective, whatever, but there should be a system that you at least understand the structure of the joke, where you can be like, well, that's witty, or that's smart, or I see where that's going. This, I don't see where any of that's going. But hey, it's a test run.
Just a collection of bits. So the thing you just said, that's a bit right there.
Yeah.
So, and you write the bits, you write them down however you'll remember them. You do bullet points or whatever, but that's your Gilbert Gottfried pregnant wife bit right there. The framework that you need to look at stuff through, or think about this type of stuff, when you get up there and you do a bit and it sucks, and you feel that pang of shame, right?
Yeah.
You have to move yourself away from it being that the audience is judging you, and you have to move to knowing that they're judging the bit.
Once again, great advice from Sam. You know, stand-up comedy is typically, once you get better, it can be centered around like a more centralized topic, but it can just be a series of funny bits that you think of. And like when you first start off, you're only up there for 5-10 minutes maybe. So it's like you rattle off 10-15 jokes and you're done. So it doesn't have to be cohesive. Once you get better, I feel like that's how it works. But his advice about not taking things personally is actually pretty good. Because I remember when I went to school, I was in design school, and that was basically the first thing that they told everybody was, we're critiquing your work, we're not critiquing you, so don't take it personally. It's hard not to, because when you're in the art sphere, you know, your art is like an extension of you in a sense. So it's hard not to take it personally, but you have to understand that when people are viewing your art, they're trying to make it the best that it can possibly be. And so that's the same for like anything. It's the same for like sports, where it's like, you know, it's hard to be criticized for an aspect of your game that you don't want to change, or you thought you were doing well, but somebody tells you, hey, you can't succeed unless you change this. You know, it's that whole idea. It's like the metamorphosis, the ever-changing is how you become better. I'm not sure that Chris could be consistent with that. I'd find that hard. I feel like he would not be able to decipher what makes his jokes bad, and that would kill his career.
Away, that's out the window. Like, get your personality containerized away from the jokes, the bits, the audience reaction, etc. Like, if you go have the worst night of your life and the audience, like, they fucking hate everything you said, that just means that, like, you just used, like, something was wrong with the bits you were doing.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with, like, you as a person. If you are perpetually doing bits that suck and you can't fix it, then, you know, if you do that for 10 years, then yeah, you're a shitty comedian. But
so that sort of harkens back to, can Chris analyze and critique his own work? At the same time, I'm always curious about stand-up, because it's like, I can't get a read on what the common person would find funny, right? So, like, it wouldn't shock me if you went to a comedy club and these impressions killed it and people thought it was hilarious. I don't think it's funny, but, like, I'm not the, you know, I said I'm the be-all, end-all, but I'm truly not, obviously. You know, comedy is in that sense subjective, that everybody thinks different things are funny. So, like, maybe he kills it with that. You know, there's plenty of comedians, I feel like, I never understood why they're popular, but maybe they're just not for me. I don't know. Maybe Sam knows something more than I do, and he probably does. I mean, he knows comedy better than I do. You know, I'm not here to be a dick rider, but it's pretty monumental to have somebody that is this influential in the comedy sphere telling Fatty to do stuff. We haven't heard anything about being a comedian since then, but there's still time.
Towley and
Bobby Hill.
And they're what?
They're at the football game.
They're at a football game.
High energy, but you got one low energy dude and one high energy dude.
Okay.
There. You gotta think, because it's like, fuck yeah, I got my bike back from my dad. And Sally's always like, I'm just high, I'm just high.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So that's one.
I got you. One thing, so when you're doing stand-up, it probably is not. You probably shouldn't start with scenarios that have like two characters.
True.
And one of the reasons is because it's pretty difficult to like stand on a stage and make a room full of people believe that you're one person and then switch and become another person.
I think also I like the aspect of a comedian being personable. And Fatty gets into it a little bit later and does some more personal stories. But, like, I'm not going to a comedy show to listen to somebody tell me a story between Tally and Bobby Hill. You know, that is certainly not what I want to hear. And like, I understand his idea of having one low and one high energy character, but like, two cartoon characters that you're impersonating, I'm not sure about that, Chief. I think he could take that and morph it into a story that is in the real world, where he's the high energy character and he had a buddy that was the low energy character, and he's able to morph that into some story. There's something there, but I think he's missing the mark, because I feel like he's falling back too much on pop culture when he should be focusing on himself.
As the cop starts to get out of his car, I look over at my friend. I said, Skylar, get your phone connected to the radio real quick. He goes, what? I said, if we're about to go down, we're going down laughing. So he throws it on, and he hands me his phone and goes, what are you doing? At this point, the cop's halfway to the car. You know, and you can see that he is almost all business, at least outwardly. What did I decide to play? And the whole time he comes up, whoop, whoop, bad boys, what you want, what you gonna do? And I will tell you what, I have never seen a piggy snout go like this and laugh so hard in my life. Never seen a man who's supposed to be a professional piece of bacon become so flimsy. Comes up to the car, sir, you know how fast you're going. Looked down and said, oh, I know I was going fast enough that I need this theme song for you.
Damn.
This joke's a little bit better. It's a tiny bit better. But like, how do I even describe the type of comedy that I feel like I'm hearing? It's not like juvenile, but like, I don't know, stereotypical. And like, stereotypical jokes aren't bad, but like, your joke is calling a cop a pig and playing the Bad Boys theme song from Cops. And like, okay, I see, sure. And he says that the cop found it funny and whatever, but I don't get it. I don't get it personally. You know, I feel like there's way more extreme jokes that you could go with that would make it funnier. Because I feel like if you're just grabbing the low-hanging fruits, it's like, well, I've heard this a million times. There's probably at some point that I laughed at both of these concepts in a joke around Cops, but it's just played to death. So it's like, innovating is probably important, but at the same time, it's like, there are tried and true ways that you can tell jokes, and I feel like Chris needs a lot of work in order to reach that. And once again, I'm not the joke king, but I like to think I know what I think is funny. So I'll go off based off of that from my own history.
Was going to take care of you, your dream woman, but she was a vegan.
Damn. So you telling me my dream woman, but vegan.
So this joke, and I won't play it in its entirety, Sam basically runs this one, and I think it's kind of funny. I think the concept is interesting. Chris claims to have had 2 girlfriends in the past. I'm calling Cap. He says he's had 1 black and 1 white. Calling Cap. It's fine. I don't care if you make up things for jokes, because if it's funny, it's funny. Either way, the whole premise of the joke is that Chris is interested in black women and didn't really like his white girlfriend. So the idea is he takes something that he also wouldn't like vegans, and he basically describes vegans exactly like his ex-girlfriend, while also championing black women as his ideal, but maybe they're like meat eaters or something. So I think that this idea has some legs that you can run with, where if you're talking to a crowd and you're like, man, I really hate vegans, you know, they're soy latte, you know, Uggs wearing, Han Solo looking asses, you know, like, you can describe it like that. Obviously, I'm just spitballing, but there's opportunities here, and they sort of run it into the ground, but it's fine. I think the concept is fine. They're just spitballing. It's whether or not Chris would be able to actually formulate this into an interesting idea.
Because when you think about it, when I see the word vegan, what do you think? Typical weak-ass looking white dude chick.
Sure, yeah.
Like, I'm going to be honest, Letty's a pretty good example of a female vegan. Doesn't know how to build a table and doesn't know how to cook meat.
Okay.
So, Chris just had to get one last jab into Letty, and that's the whole thing. You know, I stayed away from Fish Tank a lot in terms of making content, just because I don't know how much draw the contestants have. But Chris and this one chick inside this experiment hated each other. I think Chris liked her. She obviously didn't like him, but he spit on her a lot, and now he's calling she can't build a table or make food or whatever. Either way, you know, I think what Sam was going for was noble, to try and pull Fatty out of the doldrums. I don't know if he will take the advice and run. Probably not. But at the very least, we can say there was an honest attempt. I don't know if stand-up comedy is his future, but I guess time will tell. I apologize for me sniffling a little bit throughout this video. My allergies have been really bad, and it's hard to work around it, but I try my best. Either way, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, leave a comment, tell me how funny you think I am. And until next time, I will talk to you guys later. Peace.